Okay, so we have discussed in the last class about LLP, its meaning, and how it came into existence, what are the different laws applicable to that, and what are the main features of the LLP, and also the different schedule which are given. So characteristics, etc., and features we have already discussed. Now we will be discussing the incorporation of LLP, and we'll discuss about the LLP agreement in today's class. Okay, so when we talk about incorporation of LLP, so as we have discussed that if we talk about the existence of LLP, so it is to be registered well as per the law, as per the requirements of law. So it is a kind of, it's not a difficult or lengthy procedure to incorporate an LLP, but it is some formalities are required. So, what all we need when we wish to incorporate a limited liability partnership firm, then in that particular situation, we need at least two or more persons, those who are willing to join the LLP. And out of the two, when we minimum two designated partners are there, so one partner needs to be resident in India. So, one thing, whenever a business is being started, the business is being started with a purpose of earning profit and carrying out some business. So this should be with respect to some lawful business, and the two people, minimum two people, those who wish to be the part of the organization, are required to subscribe their names to a incorporation document. इनकॉर्पोरेशन डॉक्यूमेंट में आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का प्रपोज नेम, addresses of the designated partners, the objective of the business, the day-to-day operations, or this can be accompanied by the a detailed LLP agreement as well. Such document is to be filed with the registrar of companies along with the required fee. And nowadays all the filing of the documents and application is possible online at the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, that is www.mca.gov.in. So that is again possible of filing all the documents electronically. So for that incorporation, you have to the prescribed form for application of the registration of the LLP, and that particular prescribed form, all the particulars must be given properly, clearly, without any error. And along with the particular incorporation document, a statement in a prescribed form is to be signed by any of the professional, either an advocate, a corporate company secretary, chartered accountant, or cost accountant. That the formation of LLP is there, and the name is subscribed in the particular incorporation with. So it's one certificate, or we can say a statement authenticating the information given in the incorporation document is to be signed by the any of the professional. Other than that, when we say that when we have submitted the incorporation document and statement with the registrar, then the LLP will be registered within a period of nearly 14 days, and a certificate signed and authenticated by the official seal of the registrar is going to give the conclusive evidence to the LLP that LLP has come into existence, and the name of that LLP will be written in the registered or register of the limited liability partnership register companies only, right? So in this particular case, we have to understand that the incorporation procedure, what is the incorporation procedure of the LLP. Other than that, if we talk about the requirement of LLP incorporation, then in that particular situation, we have already discussed that we require two or more partners. They can be individual or they can be body corporates as well. And it requires two designated partners. At least one of them should be resident in India. Then, along with this, we require digital signature certificate. Digital signature certificate is required that if we have to file the electronically document, so the all the documents will be digitally signed. So we have to apply for the digital signature as well. Other than that, we need to give the name to the LLP. So a proposed name will be given and the approval of that particular name will be seeked. And if there is no similar name or no objection is there at the end of the organization or the legal body, then in that case that name will be approved and you can that name will be written in the incorporation certificate as such and such name with the attaching the name of LLP. And if that name is not available, then the generally we offer two or more names for the approval. And if none of the name has been selected or approved by the authorities, then in that particular situation, a particular time is again given to apply a different name than the earlier one. Then along with that, we have to give the, we can say, copy of LLP agreement. So it is not mandatory to give the detailed agreement, but there is possibility that if certain points are missing, then the schedule 1 of the LLP Act will apply. And other than that, we talk about the DPIN and digital signature certificate is required. So DPIN is designated partners identification number. So it's a 8-digit number allotted by the central government in order to identify a particular person. And in this particular situation, the application is to be given in a specific form and along with the proper prescribed fee. I think it's rupees 100, and the fee can be paid online by using any of the mode, electronic mode, and then digital signature certificate will be issued. And after this, the name will be there and the LLP agreement will be attached. So now we have to understand that what do we understand by the LLP agreement. So when we talk about LLP agreement is basically talks about those terms and conditions which have been agreed by the parties with respect to day-to-day operation of the organization. So if we talk about a company has its memorandum of association where the objectives of the companies are being defined, and it has articles of association wherein the operations, day-to-day activities, performance, etc. is being given. So LLP agreement is just like the partnership deed or article of association of a company. So in case of partnership deed, there are certain flexibilities or easy alteration, etc. is there. But in articles of association, you have to work within the given, objectives, and the you have to fulfill all the legal requirements. So same will apply to LLP, though the flexibility of operation is being given, but it needs to be formalized. So if the LLP agreement is being framed, so it will be applicable as the legal document. And if it is, we talk about the nature of the agreement, so it needs to be in writing. Then after that, we talk about that what are the basic things which are there. So in that particular situation, it carries the mutual rights and duties of the partner. So if we talk about the LLP agreement, so LLP agreement talks about, we have to discuss in detail. One second, yeah. So it talks about the mutual rights and duties of the partners, and it is basically governed by the partners or between LLP. So it is not only about the right between A, B, and C. It talks about the rights of A, B, C among themselves as well as with the organization, that is LLP, which has come into existence. So once the LLP is incorporated, तो LLP agreement also talks about कि partners का उस organization के साथ क्या relation होगा, कितनी आपका शेयर होगा, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू परफॉर्म द एक्टिविटीज इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. when we talk about the LLP Act, so LLP Act जो है हमारे हमें ऑप्शन देता है, बिकॉज वी से दैट इट्स अ हाइब्रिड मॉडल, कि हम पार्टनरशिप फर्म की फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ऑपरेशन की चॉइस ले सकते हैं, प्लस दिस इज टू बी लीगली फॉर्मलाइज्ड. सो व्हेन इट इज द इट प्रोवाइड्स द flexibility, so we that choice is being given to the partners, but it has to work within the given rules and the domain. The proper work writing should be there. Then also when we talk about the LLP agreement, so if we talk about the company's articles of association, memorandum or company working, it is open for public inspection, but LLP agreement is not open to public inspection. Other than that, if we talk about LLP agreement, it talks about all the, we can say that how it is going to work, what is the charter of the company, how the particular situation is here. All the things are details are being given in this. One second. Okay. So, if we talk about the LLP agreement, so if there are any changes are required, or we make wish to make certain alteration, we can do so within the given legal provisions. And legal provision says that if we need to make any change, then in that particular case, the proper form is to be filled within 30 days of incorporation, and the date of change made in the agreement is to be given. And even if after giving all the details certain aspect or certain point is missing, then schedule 1 will apply on the matters on which the particular agreement is silent. Then if we talk about LLP agreement, so LLP agreement in broader terms is similar to the articles of association. However, it's like a traditional partnership agreement only. So there is no selective format or certain rules regulation for the framing of LLP agreement. So it is similar like as we used to talk about the partnership deed as per the Partnership Act. But of course, if the consent of the parties must be there in making the agreement, and because all the dealing with future dealings will be on the basis of LLP agreement only. When we talk about the basic difference between the two, so the basic difference between the two is कि ट्रेडिशनल पार्टनरशिप में पार्टनर्स की आपस की रिलेशनशिप के बारे में बात होती है, but in case of LLP we are talking about the relationship among partners as well as with the organization that exists as a separate legal entity. Okay. So then other than this, if it says the interpretation of an agreement under LLP Act is a contract as defined in Indian Contract Act 1872 that has no legal requirement for agreement may therefore settled orally or by conduct or estoppels. So it means that there is the LLP is just like a contract, but in this particular situation there is no legal requirement for the agreement, which can be oral or estoppel, means separate conditions are not required. It must be there as per the we can say the legal obligation written in the contract itself. Okay, so now if we wish to make any changes or additions or alteration in the agreement, that is possible, and this can be changed by filling up the form and making the change and getting the approval from the registrar of the companies. Okay, so I think no more definition is required to be discussed with respect to the agreement. This is more than enough what we have discussed. Now let's have a look on the first schedule, that what are the different things which are given in the first schedule. If it is not mentioned any of the point, then we can refer it. So all the provisions related to mutual rights and duties of the partners and limited liability partnership and its partners applicable in absence of any agreement of such matters. So in this case, which are the items which are being given? It talks about the mutual rights and liabilities. It talks with the relationship with the organization. It talks with the that if nothing is mentioned on account of the capital, profit, losses, etc., then the schedule 1 says that there is the equal distribution of on account of the profits and losses, and also the contribution on form of capital will be equal if nothing is mentioned in the LLP agreement. Then after that there is the requisite which says that LLP shall indemnify each partner in respect of the payments made and personal liability incurred by him. So if there nothing is mentioned, so whatever expenditure has been incurred or payments have been made by the partner, then LLP have the implied contract of indemnity that it is going to reimburse all these expenses because they have entered into the contract on behalf of the organization. Also, if there is any kind of caused by any every partner, if he has incurred any personal loss or because of his fraud, etc., then in that case the loss will be given or reimbursed to the organization. That personal that partner will be held personally liable for that particular loss. Also, every partner have the right to take part in the management. Every partner is there who is part of the organization. He can participate in the management if nothing is mentioned in the case of the LLP agreement. Similarly, if we talk about the permission with respect to the any remuneration, salary, etc., so if LLP agreement is silent, then no partner shall be allowed for any remuneration. Similarly, if we have to add or admit any of the partner, then in that case the consent of all the existing partner is required, so no partner can be admitted as such. Then after that we can talk about that all the important aspects with respect to day to day operations are being given in the schedule 1. So every partner shall account to LLP for any benefit which has been received by him विदाउट द कंसेंट ऑफ द LLP. तो अगर कोई लॉस हुआ है पर्सनल फ्रॉडुलेंट नेचर का, वो रीइंबर्स करना पड़ेगा. और अगर आपने कोई LLP की प्रॉपर्टी या नेम या बिजनेस को यूज करके कोई भी प्रॉफिट अर्न किया है, तो वो आपको प्रॉफिट जो है LLP को रिटर्न करना पड़ेगा, देना पड़ेगा. एंड ऑल्सो वन इम्पॉर्टेंट कंडीशन इज कि कोई भी जो पार्टनर्स हैं वो इकट्ठे ग्रुप बना के या मेजोरिटी ऑफ पार्टनर्स जो है आपका किसी पार्टनर को एक्सपेल नहीं कर सकते until unless this particular clause is given in the LLP agreement. And also if there are any kind of disputes, so these disputes will be under the provisions of Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. So this point you can skip as well. Then this section, this particular till now in 40 slides we have already discussed. So you just can see the sections and we will move further. Nature of LLP as a body corporate, section 3, we have discussed the concept of body corporate and how the composition of partnership firm and the good quality, good things or professionalism of body corporate is being given. That is, we have already taken how the LLP differ from the traditional partnership firm. We have already discussed. Then section 4 talks about that there is no applicability of the Partnership Act rules until unless there is any governing provision or partnership law applies to LLP. Otherwise, there are no requirement. Then section 5 talks about the partners. So we know the capacity of the partners: a person who is age of majority, person who is of sound mind, person who is not disqualified by law can enter into the contract. And similarly, in case of partners, a person is required to be of sound mind and capable of entering into the contract. He must not be discharged insolvent, or he must not be of unsound mind. But also, when we are here, we are talking about the individuals, but body corporates can also become the part of the LLP, but their nominees, the persons who are representing the body corporate, should not be affected by incapacity as such. So, in this particular clause, we say that an individual or body corporate may become a partner in an LLP, and the partner of an LLP may, by interpretation of this clause, comprise or include, in addition to individual, a company registered in India or outside, another LLP registered in India or outside, or some other form of corporate entity can become the partner in LLP. So, in this particular situation, we have to remember that their foreign national can be part of the particular LLP, body corporates can be part of the LLP, or even other LLPs can be part of the LLP as well. So, in this case, partner must be capable as an individual, and other than individual, these form of organizations can also be part of the LLP. Section 6 talks about the minimum number of partners, which is 2, and maximum there is no limit. But if at any point in time the number of partner reduces below 2 and one single partner is carrying out the business more than 6 months, then he shall be held liable, personally liable, for all the obligation beyond that 6-month period. So this point we have already discussed. Now in detail, section 7, which talks about designated partners. So designated partners are those partners which are going to represent the organization for all the legal requirements. And in this case, minimum 2 partners, 2 individuals should be the designated partner, and out of those 2 partners, one should be resident in India. And if there are body corporates, then in that particular situation, the nominees should act as the designated partners itself. For the purpose, resident in India, as we have discussed, as per the income tax provision, must satisfy the conditions to be resident, and general condition says that he is in India during the relevant previous year is for minimum 182 days, right? But when you will discuss the concepts and the Income Tax Act, then you will learn more about this particular thing. Then after that, what were the requirement that when we submit the incorporation document, we have to specify that who is going to be the designated partner, right? So such person shall be designated partner on incorporation. And in case there is no designated partner from time to time, then LLP is to be designated partner, then every partner shall be designated partner in accordance with the LLP agreement. So in this particular situation, any partner may become designated partner as per the rules of the law, and a partner ceases to be designated partner as per the rules given in the LLP agreement. So LLP agreement have the wider role to play with respect to that whether a person is going to act as a designated partner or not. एक पर्सन आपका डेजिग्नेटेड पार्टनर तब तक नहीं बन सकता जब तक वो अपनी प्रायर कंसेंट ना दे एज अ डेजिग्नेटेड पार्टनर काम करने की. सो every limited liability partnership firm shall file with registrar the particulars of every individual who is going to be considered as the designated partner, and such designated partner must procure the DPIN number as well, which is very, very important for carrying out the activities. Then when we talk about DPIN number, so DPIN number we have already discussed that whenever a person is appointed as designated partner, so in the proper form, he needs to apply for the DPIN number along with the fee and giving all the complete details. and the in that particular situation DPIN number will be issued by the central government, and if there is any change in the particulars or any change in the designated partner, then the change must be reported to the authorities for within a specified time period. So in case of if there is any change in the particulars, then in that case in form number word in 1 and in 4, within 30 days of the change you have to give the application. On form 7 for the allotment of DPIN, form 10 for the intimation of changes is to be given. Now we come to the relationship of the partners with the organization. So what will be the liabilities and duties of the designated partner? So if there is if you have the books, so you can open the book, and if you are following the book by Sushma Arora ma'am, then in that particular case, page number 380, the chapter 21 talks about partners and their relations. So in this particular case, who is eligible to be a partner in the firm, we have already discussed. Then who is going to be the in case of body corporate, and what are the disqualification of becoming a partner, these points we have already discussed. Minimum and maximum number of partners we have also discussed, and reduction of number below the statutory period is also already been discussed. So who is designated partner, who will be designated partner, prior consent to act as designated partner, filling up of particulars with the registrar with respect to the designated partner. If there are any change, this is to be communicated. Eligibility and conditions on appointment of the designated partners is there. And if there is any suspension in of the designated partner, then it must be communicated within the given time period. About the DPIN number, we have already discussed. Then on page number 383, liabilities of designated partner, section 8 is given. So it says that designated partner is responsible for doing all acts, matters, and things as required to be done by LLP in respect of compliance of the provision of this act, including filing of any document, return, statement, report, or other acts as may be specified in LLP agreement. तो अगर आपने एक्सप्रेसली कोई काम एक्सक्लूड नहीं किया एलएलपी एग्रीमेंट में, तो उस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में डेजिग्नेटेड पार्टनर वो सारे एक्ट, मैटर और थिंग्स करने के लिए लायबल होगा जो आपके लीगल कंप्लायंस के लिए, प्रोविजंस को फुलफिल करने के लिए रिक्वायर्ड है, चाहे वो फाइलिंग ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट हो, फाइलिंग ऑफ रिटर्न हो, फाइलिंग ऑफ स्टेटमेंट हो, किसी रिपोर्ट का सबमिशन हो, कोई पर्टिकुलर चेंजेस की इंफॉर्मेशन हो, वो सारी की सारी इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करने की ड्यूटी किसकी होगी? डेजिग्नेटेड पार्टनर की होगी. एंड अगर जो लॉ के रिक्वायरमेंट में हमने सारी इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है और नॉन कंप्लायंस में से रिलेटेड अगर कोई पेनल्टीज होती हैं, then the designated partners are liable to all those penalties imposed on LLP for any contravention of those provisions. तो अगर कोई provisions fulfill नहीं होते और उसकी contravention के लिए कोई भी penalty designated partner पे impose होती है, so designated partners are going to bear that penalty as well. This particular clause talks about that who shall be responsible for doing all acts, matters or things which are required to be done by LLP. As we have already discussed कि LLP एक artificial judicial person है, उसकी separate legal entity है, but as a human being LLP खुद आके sign नहीं कर सकती. So in that case, though it has a common seal, though its signature or contracts will be considered, it can purchase the goods in its own name, it can enter into the contract in its own name, it can sell the goods in its own name, but still you require some representative to do all such acts to represent the organization. So designated partners are given that particular responsibility. So this is to be understood well. Then we talk about that if there is, by reason of designated partners, they have additional duties and responsibilities that may include signing, filling up of accounts, filing of annual return, or any kind of notices to the registrar, auditing of accounts if required, or any other liability if it is to be met, responsibilities to be fulfilled. This will be done by the designated partners itself. Then the next concept comes, that is about the we say change in designated partners. When we talk about the change in designated partner, so if there is any change, this must be communicated, and the new designated partners must be appointed within 30 days of the vacancy arising for any reason. And if no designated partner is appointed, then each partner shall be treated as designated partner as per the provisions of law. And the clause, we can say that clause that provides that if there is filling up of vacancy in 30 days, well and good. And if it is not appointed, then the LLP is that all it is, we say, one person all the times at least two of its partner must be designated partner, and it can be either by the agreement, or in case of similarly amongst the partner, or in case of death or retirement, remaining partner will become the designated partner. And if there are more partners, then every partner of LLP will automatically become the designated partner. And if a person ceases to be the partner of the LLP for any reason, then he automatically ceases to be a designated partner. So if today we are having 10 partners, out of 10, 5 have retired and we have not appointed, so in that case all the remaining 5 will become the designated partner. But अगर उन 5 में से कोई एक partner designated partner ही नहीं है LLP का, और he ceases to be partner of the LLP for any reason, then he cannot also become the designated partner. Then in that case remaining 4 shall be considered as designated partner only. Then if we talk about punishment for contravention of provision 789, so it says that if the designated partners are being changed or not appointed, or the action is not being taken, then there is going to be the contravention. And in that particular situation, in this case contravention, the fine can be, every designated partner will be punishable with the fine of 10,000, and that can extend to 5 lakh rupees. And just need to check that whether all these section needs to be covered or not. So any one of you can check the guidelines shared by me, and you can check that whether this particular section is to be covered or not. I think section 10, yes, it is to be covered. So the penalty remains the same, 10,000 to 5 lakh, and in second case 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees. Then in continuation, incorporation document of LLP, we have already discussed section 11. Then section 12, incorporation by registration, we have already discussed. Section 13, if the registered office of LLP is to be changed, then the information is to be given in the prescribed form to the registrar, and this information is to be given by the designated partner. And if this particular information is not being fulfilled or not being given, then in that case every partner shall be punishable with a fine of rupees 2,000, which may extend to 25,000 rupees. Then section 14, effect of registration, we have already discussed कि जब वो register हो जाएगी, so then it can enter into the contract in its own name. Section 15 talks about the name of the LLP. Already discussed that the name should be the different one. It should not have any clash with the existing organization, or it should not be undesirable on any of the points. So by the in the opinion of the central government, then only the name of the LLP will be approved. Reservation of name is there, that if we are planning to open the LLP in near future, so we can get a name reserved for a period of 3 months from the date of registration by the registrar. And if we want to change the name later on, we can follow the proper process to change the name of the LLP. So in this particular case, the body corporate and the direction must be followed within 3 months or any extended time period allowed by the सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. और अगर आप इस कंडीशन कोई कॉन्ट्रावेंशन करते हो, फुलफिल नहीं करते हो, तो फाइन जो है आपका 10,000 से 5 लाख रुपीज तक हो सकता है. और एवरी डेजिग्नेटेड पार्टनर शेल बी फाइन not less than 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees. Then application for direction of change in name in certain circumstances is to be given in the prescribed form along with the prescribed fee, and such application will be accepted by the registrar if it is within the period of 24 months. तो अगर आपने चेंज करना है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम, तो you have to get it done within 24 months period only. After that, there is no possibility of getting the change, or if the central government permits, so extended period can be taken into account. Then in penalty for not using the word LLP in the name, so there is again going to be a fine of 50,000 up to 5 lakh rupees. Then you need to publish the name in the on the all the official letterheads, all the documents as such. So अगर इसमें भी contravention होता है, so again the fine of 2,000 to 25,000 rupees will be there. Now we come to section 22, which talks about the eligibility of the partners. So section 22 talks about the eligibility of the partners. So partners' name may be subscribed in the incorporation document, and consent of all the partners should be there in the act, that they will be termed as a partner of LLP and their role are given within the provisions of LLP agreement. And when we talk about the section 23, it talks about the relationship. So already discussed that all the rights and duties are governed by the LLP agreement. Any change in the agreement must be filed with the registrar within the prescribed period, and if an agreement must be in writing, and if there is any changes, so that changes can be there after the incorporation of LLP. And if nothing is or certain aspects are silent, then the schedule 1 of the LLP act will apply automatically. Then section 24 talks about that when a person ceases to be the partner, or when he is considered not to be the partner in the organization. So in this particular case, if a person is required to leave the organization, then in that particular case, in case of his death, dissolution of LLP, if a person is declared unsound mind, declared insolvent, then in that particular case, the person cannot become the partner in the partnership firm, that is LLP. And if the person is leaving the organization, he will be known as the former partner, and the former partner will continue to be liable to the third parties until unless the third parties have the knowledge of his being a former partner, or notice has been given to the registrar with respect to his status of leaving the organization. So in this case, former partner will continue to be liable for all the liabilities incurred during the period before leaving the organization, and former partner will have the right up to the amount of capital contributed by him and accumulated profits till the date of leaving the organization after adjusting the related losses in his account. And also, former partner or his legal representative will have no right to participate in the management of the LLP after the date of resignation or the death of the partner. Then in this registration of changes in partners, so this is to be given within a prescribed form and within 15 days of such change. and if the LLP is required to inform the registrar or give this information, then in that particular case within 30 days the communication to the registrar should happen, and to the organization any change or address within 15 days of the change must be communicated to the organization. And if there is any, at any point there is the change is not being given or there is any issue, then in that case the incoming partner must be given in the organization, and the authenticity of the particular partner should be given. देन अगर कॉन्ट्रावेंशन होती है इन किसी भी प्रोविजन में, देन द पनिशमेंट ऑफ इन टर्म्स ऑफ फाइन इज देयर rupees 2000 to 25,000. And if there is a partner is leaving the LLP and inform the registrar his status, then the registrar is going to confirm it from the LLP. अगर LLP खुद delay करती है because the former partner is going to be responsible for all the liabilities, so in that particular situation, if the partner himself inform the registrar about his status that he is leaving the organization, then in that case the registrar is going to ask the LLP, and if no confirmation is given within the 15 days, so it will automatically registered on the request of such partner. And partner can file a notice if he has a reasonable cause to believe that LLP is not going to file the notice for the same, as there will be will be some delay. So that is I think enough for today's class, and we can discuss the remaining concepts in the next class. Let me see how much slides are left for the partners position. Section 30. Yeah, I think 4 sections are left, we can discuss. Then whistleblowing we can discuss in the next class. We have discussed till now to section 25 about the registration of change in the partners. Now in continuation, when we talk about partner as an agent, so we have discussed earlier that the relationship of the partners in the organization is there, but there is no rule of mutual agency as it is there in case of the Partnership Act. So in this case, what happens that when we talk about partner as an agent, then partner can bind the LLP, not the other partners. So in that case, the every partner in LLP acts as an agent of LLP and has the capacity to bind the LLP for conducting the business transaction. It is specifically provided that partners of LLP cannot bind the other partners or do not act as an agent for the other partner. Hence, the rule of mutual agency does not apply in case of LLP. So, it's a very important point you need to remember. Then section 27 talks about that to what extent the partner will be held liable. So, all these things we have already discussed. Provision 1, that LLP is not bound or not liable if partner has acted beyond his authority, or the person dealing in such course of the transaction knows the authority of the partner. Second provision is that if any wrongful act is done, then the partner is personally liable. LLP will be held liable for all the obligations arising out of a contract, means within the scope of the authority, within the LLP agreement for the business transaction only. And all the liabilities of the partners will be met out of the property of the LLP. Hence, there is going to be the limited liability of the partners in this case. And liability of the partners, we have already discussed कि किसी भी wrongful act के लिए वो personally liable होगा और otherwise वो personally liable नहीं है आपकी activities का LLP के अंदर. Then the next section, provision of holding out. Provision of holding out is the same as we have discussed earlier. The concept of holding out, that the person so representing will be liable towards that third party up to the extent of credit or the amount of liability incurred from such transaction. If you remember, doctrine of estoppel. The doctrine of estoppel may the person is remaining silent or in a particular relationship shows to the other person. And in case of holding out, there is a prior positive assertion, as the example of an agent we have discussed, that the salesman was working in the organization earlier and he has left the organization, but the third party is not aware of his leaving the organization, and he doesn't have the authority to do the sale in the particular shop. And one fine day he has visited the shop, and the shopkeeper have been out for some time, and he has entered into those transactions. So in that case, the shopkeeper, the principal, will be liable for those transactions. So provision of holding out will apply in this particular case. Then the last point in case of partners relationship is about the unlimited liability in case of fraud. So if there is the partner has entered into any wrongful act or omission, or there is any kind of fraud by the partner, then in that particular case the liability of partner have to be acted with the intent to do defraud creditor or for any fraudulent purposes shall be unlimited. He will be held personally liable, and the punishment in this particular case is fine of 50,000 rupees, which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. And in a particular situation, LLP shall not be liable if the partner or the designated partner has acted fraudulently without the knowledge of the LLP. So that's it with respect to the partners and its relations. So probably it is going to take two more lecture or one class of 1.5 hours to complete the remaining topic, which wherein we just have to discuss the financial disclosures, we have to discuss about the conversion rules, and about the winding up of the LLP. So these three topics are left from my side, and I hope whatever we have discussed till now, you are going to read the concepts